so I can pick y'all crazy ass minds. Because I want to know. Because that latest book, man,
which book?
with the date nap.
Oh yeah.
Like, you started off the book. I said, what the hell type craziness? But please introduce yourself. Tell everybody who you are, what genre you write in, and anything you want us to know before we even get started.
So I am author Toni LaRuè. I am a thriller horror author of, I think I have 8 books now, 8 novels, 2 short stories.
Okay. All right, let's get started. What drew you to the horror, the thriller, hell, because some of it is almost suspense like genres. And how do you see them as vehicles of telling black stories? Because it's hard to get us to tell the stories that we want to tell in those genres.
So it's actually a funny story. So a fun fact, my first book was an urban fiction book. I kind of came up in a time where urban fiction was really popping, like during coldest winter ever. So I feel like that was all I seen. So it was, I kind of naturally kind of gravitated toward that genre, but it really wasn't me. And then I just so happened one night, I used to work at the Holiday Inn Express, and I worked graveyard. And at that time, Kindles were out, but I still used to do like my weekly trips to Walmart, because Walmart had at that time the best section for like African American fiction.
Yeah.
So for some reason I did not make my trip, so I had nothing to read. So I get to work and I'm like, what am I going to do for 8 hours? Because I'm not working for 8 hours. So just so happened it was a crime thriller book in the Lost and Found. So I started reading that book and I never looked back. It was a Lisa Gardner book, The Other Daughter. And so I thought I was just going to read it to get me through that night. And I was like, in the morning, I'm going to head on to Walmart, buy me some books. When I tell you, I was addicted to thrillers at that time. So it was kind of natural for me at that point to go into thrillers. And I was trying to find like black authors who wrote in those genres. And it's hard, but it's a little easier now.
Yeah.
But even back then, it was just like, if you black, you urban fiction. So even just trying to comb through every author to figure out what genre they actually belonged in, I couldn't really find it. So I was like, well, I really enjoy these stories, but I would love to see black characters in these roles.
I like that. Do you approach writing horror differently than thriller or even the psychological? Like, how do you balance the psychological terror with action and the action driven fear in your books?
I feel like I take all the best components from each genre and kind of put it all into my books, because I love suspense, I love thrillers, I love psychological thrillers, and I love horror, and I just kind of took all the best elements to me to create my story. So it's not really, I don't really have a format. It's just something, because I think I'm a very descriptive writer, and then I really focus a lot on character development. So I just kind of tweak it to make it mine, So it's not really a formula I have. It just kind of comes out my head that way.
Your stories are often okay. I'm gonna put it like this: your stories include like themes of paranoia, survival, trauma. How do you tap into those emotions in your writing without getting overwhelmed while you're writing it?
I feel like, especially when you're writing horror, one of the greatest fears to me is if you don't even know if your reality is reality. So I always kind of try to get in that mindset, like you don't even know if what's happening right now is even real. And I watch a lot of horror. I watch a lot of psychological thrillers. So just really studying the craft, because I've never experienced those things. I also in my day job, I'm still at, work for corporate America, but
Yeah.
I work with a lot of mentally ill clients. So even pulling from their experiences helped me create these characters.
Do you ever experience like fear yourself while or have like fear in a scene that you wrote that came out your head? If so, how do you channel that fear and make it effective for that particular story, paragraph, page?
Let me tell you, I'm scary. I live in a small house. When I say small, it's a small house. So I literally have night lights all over the house. No lie. So I'm scared anyway when I'm writing these things. And I have certain scenes where I'm being extra descriptive, and I always try to picture it as because I always wanted to kind of come off like a movie.
Yeah.
When I started really studying how to like outline books, I really studied from how to outline scripts. So a lot of my books kind of unfold like movies. So I'm seeing these things go on in my head. I'm hearing if the character, I was about to say patient. If the character is hearing is hearing whispers, I'm hearing whispers. So I won't act like I don't get scared. I get scared, but I'm so used to it at this point. It's a part of my daily life.
I am hollering because you like I'm scared. I'm like
I'm scary.
You're scaring us. Like this is your shit.
Yeah, I'm scary. I'm scary. Don't let the books fool you.
Lord,
I am scary.
So how does your identity as a Black storyteller, a Black writer, influence you in a way that the building of the tension, the fear, psychological depth in your work? How does being Black influence that passion?
So it depends on the story. Every story I don't always want to pull from Black trauma. I feel like it's a time and a place, but I also feel like it may sound weird, but to me, horror is kind of an escape. So you don't always want to be in that mind frame when you are wanting to read horror. You just want to be scared, like normal people fears, But so it is a time and a place. Of course, me being Black is going to always have some type of influence on just my writing in general, my character development, because you can't escape that. We can't escape our experiences, but I don't necessarily always pull from Black trauma to create these characters and these storylines.
Horror has long been used as a way to critique society. And what are some real world issues you use in horror to explore, but it's more satire?
Let me think. I would say so. Me and author Tanisha Stewart, we have a series, the Asylum series, and that book is based off of an asylum who and they do experiments on patients. And I think I really did pull from like the Tuskegee experiments. I did a lot of research on that stuff because one of the reasons, just kind of piggybacking off your last questions, when it comes to Black trauma, why a lot of older Black people don't like to go to the doctors, or why we always feel like, the doctors and the government trying to experiment on us. It's like ingrained in our heads. So I take those experiences, and not experience me personally, but I did a lot of research on that when we did the Asylum series, and kind of pull from that. And I feel like that's a real life fear that Black people especially have.
You know what? And that's why our grandmothers be telling us to drink 7-Up or fucking ginger ale all the goddamn time. That cures every goddamn thing.
When I tell you, y'all ain't giving me no shot. I don't know what's in there. Y'all ain't giving me no shot. I'm cool. I will heal on my own.
So
I'm cool.
Black characters. Because there's only been 2 black people in horror history of movies that done survive. Ice Cube and fucking LL Cool J. Kelly almost made it, but then she died. Black characters in horror films and books have always historically been like sideline characters. They are killed off early, immediately. Why, I don't fucking know. How do you reclaim the space for black characters in your work?
So not all my characters survive. But most but most of the main characters are going to be black. So you're going to have one survivor, whether it's the good character or the bad character. That is up in the air. But it's not all. One thing about like thrillers and horror, it's not always a happy ending.
Exactly. It shouldn't.
Yeah.
Be.
It shouldn't be, because it don't play out that way in real life.
I ain't never seen a Stephen King book with a happily ever after. Really, that shit all the thing.
You know what I mean?
I'm just saying, yeah. Horror for black literature often reflects real life fears, right? Systematic racism, police brutality, medical exploitation. I know you say you don't try to blend those things into your stories, but how does real world horrors with supernatural or psychological ones help you with writing, characters, even if it's not even about that trauma, just that fear? How do you build on that?
Well, I would say, like, when you are writing like a horror, and I say horror thriller, I kind of blend both of them in together. But it is important to learn how to tap into those fears if you want it to come off authentic. I would say this one movie that really traumatized me, Queen and Slim, right? So that movie traumatized me to the fullest.
I'll never watch that. That shit is up there with Rosewood. I can't even watch that shit no more.
One and done. When I tell you, I was stuck. Like, why did that have to end that way? So it's not hard to like think back on certain things or certain experiences or feelings that I may have, to tap into those emotions, because you want it to come off authentic. And a lot of times, like you mentioned, you're dealing with supernatural stuff that most people don't experience in real life. So it's like, okay, well, what can I tap into that where I can kind of feel these similar type of emotions? And for black people, our horror is kind of real life. It's unfortunate, but it's real life, So you might have to, I try not to trigger myself a lot, because I feel like you can kind of go down a rabbit hole. So I don't tap into it a lot, but if I need to kind of evoke those emotions, I would think back to certain things that made me feel that way.
How do you navigate the fine line between horror as entertainment versus horror as reflection?
I don't know. My goal is to entertain you. Like, my goal is to scare the shit out of you. Like, that is my goal. I want you to be scared. I want you to have all these emotions. I want you to just be like, what the heck did I just read? Like, that's literally my goal. I want you to be able to put yourself in those characters'
Hell no.
shoes. That's the goal. You're supposed to be scared.
I was. You didn't trust me. Because the first 2 pages, I said, oh, no, nigga, what in the hell? So, what is the scariest real-life horror story or event that has influenced you besides reading that book? What is like a real-life horror story that you, like, maybe saw something out the side of your eye, thought somebody was following you, but it was just a shadow type shit? Because I didn't see my daughter jump in her own shadow, and I'll be like,
I definitely have one of those stories. So my dad passed away when I was like 15 years old. So this was like right around the time he passed away. So I was at home alone one night, and my VCR. I'm aging myself.
Girl, I know what you're talking
I'm
about.
really aging myself.
I know what you're talking about.
But my VCR started rewinding. It was either rewinding or fast forwarding by itself. Now I'm telling y'all, I'm scary. So when that started happening, I said, I'm getting out of here. So it had to been like at 9 o'clock at night. So I didn't even pack me a bag. I grabbed my purse. I lived in an apartment. My older cousin, she lived in the same apartment building, but in a different unit. So I grabbed my phone. I don't even think I had a phone. I grabbed my purse or whatever, and I go to her apartment. No lie, 2 hours later, the apartment under us, not my cousin, but under my apartment, caught on fire. And we had to evacuate the building. And I swear, I mean, I can't prove it, but I swear that was like my warning to leave.
Damn.
Because it exploded. The apartment exploded. So it was right under us.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn. That's wow.
I know. I was like, because I would have been home by myself on that when the fire started. So
Damn.
I was like, I swear that was my dad telling me to get up out of there.
Yeah, you was made for this genre. What the fuck? What the fuck? Okay, do you draw any inspiration from like African Caribbean or African American folklore? If so, how does cultural traditions shape your storytelling, your writing?
A lot. So I'm in love with New Orleans. Anybody who know me know I love New Orleans. I don't know if I lived there in the past life or what, but a lot of their spiritual traditions, even when it comes to like voodoo, hoodoo, all that stuff, I know it has a stigma attached to it. But when it comes to their culture, I love their culture, and I research their culture a lot, and I incorporate it a lot, especially in the asylum, because it's based in a fictional town in Louisiana. So when it comes to that stuff, I have much respect for it, and I always want to show it in a positive light because I feel like it has a stigma attached to it. But I also believe like a lot of this comes from, as African people, a lot of this comes from our origins. So I always try to, have respect when I'm telling those stories, but I incorporate that a lot in a lot of my stories.
Because I'm a hoodoo practitioner, so I appreciate that. So suspense is often about what isn't seen as much as we want. Suspense isn't seen as much as we want. It's just, at least for not Black people, right? How do you use psychological horror to keep readers on the edge?
I mean, honestly, it's about pacing. When you I hate for it to sound all technical, but like when you kind of study the craft, it's just about pacing. So it's like, okay, well, this is supposed to happen in when you get to this part in the book. This is when you kind of want to throw in some type of action, whatever that looks like. I feel like with me, you don't want to keep readers on their seats too much, like back to back to back to back. So you kind of want to keep them on their seat, at the edge of their seats, and then you kind of want to give them that mental and emotional break. And it's like a roller coaster. So I kind of keep that in mind. It's like, okay, too much has been happening. Let me kind of reel it back and give them a little mental and emotional break, because that can be a lot trying to, take all that in.
So, are there certain horror tropes you love to go to in your writing, and if so, like which ones?
Anything that's with the mental. I feel like that whole reality versus non-reality, because I feel like that's the most terrifying thing as a human that we can go through. Like, I don't even know if this is real, and then you're trying to convince people like, no, this is for, I'm seeing this, and they playing you because they gaslighting you.
You trying to make everybody delulu around this bitch.
I feel like that's the funnest thing, especially writing, because I feel like you can take it in so many directions because that character can be telling the truth, but at the same time, the main character is unreliable. So you
Mhm.
as the reader, you don't know if what she's seeing is real or what he's seeing is real. You
Mhm.
don't know if she's being gaslit or if something else is going on. So I feel like you can play it in so many ways. So it's fun to write those type of stories.
When writing thrillers, how do you keep readers guessing? Because you do that, guessing without making the twist predictable.
It's hard. It's hard. I would say what I like to do, I kind of will write the full story out
Mm-hmm.
first because I kind of where you want it to start and then how you want it to end. And then once the story is written out, I'll put in like little subtle
Yeah.
clues, or if I feel like okay, this might be too obvious, I'll take it out. So I'm all because I feel like one of the best things about the thriller and horror genre are the twists. So it's like you don't want people to be like, oh, I mean, sometimes people gonna figure it out because when you're looking for it,
Mm-hmm.
you might figure it out. But I try to keep it as much of a surprise as I can. So
Yeah.
I'll just put like little Easter egg clues in there. But it takes a lot because I'll go back through and revise it so that it's not so obvious.
What's the most terrifying to you? Monsters, the supernatural, or horrors of humanity?
Horrors of humanity.
Why?
Cause that shit can really happen, like for real, for real. Like that's like everyday life. So yeah. People are so unpredictable and it's like you just never know. And I feel like in 2025 people are on edge, so it's just like you just don't even you could be minding your business and somebody else is having a bad day and they can take all that out on you for no reason.
Yeah, yeah. So a lot of thrillers and horrors stories rely on isolation to heighten the fear. Do you use isolation, physical or psychological, in a lot of your writing?
Both.
Both.
I tend to use both. Like even with the asylum, the main character, she moved from her hometown to a smaller town. So she didn't know anybody. She doesn't know who she can trust. So I isolated her that way.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then in other books, I love the good psychological isolation. So,
Girl,
you know.
between you, Octavia Grant, Kenya Moss, Don, Tanisha, y'all be Kate, y'all just crazy. I don't care.
You
Y'all look same.
listen. You should see our group chat. Our group chat is a mess.
I'm scared. I'll be scared. So how do you make your villains compelling and multidimensional instead of just evil? You know what I'm saying? For the sake of it.
Um, I will say this. I read an article about, and it's so random, about the Joker. And it was an article about, because he's the villain in the story, but it was an article about how they made him more human and more personable.
Mm-hmm.
So, even if you go back to my older books, I really pride myself on the character development and I don't try to sway readers one way or another. You're gonna get the good, the bad, and the ugly. You're gonna see good sides, bad sides in the gray area. So with the villains, I think it's important for the reader to understand how they got that way because not everybody is born a villain. Some people might be, but you're not necessarily born a villain. It's your life experiences that created this person, and I just kind of want to show that the humanity, because I always say that we're the villain in somebody's story. We're not
Mm-hmm.
always the good person in everybody's story.
Yeah.
So this character could be a great father,
Yeah.
but a not so great coworker. You know what I mean? So I just
Yeah.
kind of want to show a well-rounded character where the reader can make a determination if you like them or not. Because some of the villains you might like.
But even in your dating app character, you explained the situation in regards to how we got here. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So a lot of times, that's what I like about horror and thriller is y'all explain why they are this way, but you can take what you want from it and say it don't matter, or yeah, now I understand. Because even with the Joker, you understand where it all
Where it
resided
came
from. So
from.
yeah. So
Yeah.
therefore, are they really villains? That's the question. I mean,
Yeah.
they crazy,
Right.
yes, but are they really villains though?
Right, because if you think about it this way, it just really depends on the perspective the story is being told from,
Mm-hmm.
because they all have their own agendas. Even your protagonist has their own agenda. So it just depends whose perception are we looking through this lens. So
That's
they
right.
they're not always necessarily the villain, even with the dating app, and not to justify what he did, but through his lens, this was justified, you know?
He
So
was
I
tired.
just really think it just really depends on what perspective we're looking at it from.
To me, I like it, and at the same time, I'm horrified. But I like it because it really you people judge people before they know, so they have no clue. Now, I ain't talking about Ted Bundy or the Zodiac
Right,
killer
right, yeah.
or none of them. I'm just saying, a lot of times people make people the villain and not know what was behind that. You know what I'm saying? Them white boys there, they was just fucking nuts.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, like I said, sometimes you just crazy and
Yeah.
it was nothing nobody could have did for you.
So let me ask you this: historically, horror and thriller spaces have been white dominated. Do you think that do you think that's changing, or do you think black writers still face pushback in regards to putting these stories out there?
I think it's changing, but I think we haven't come far enough. I would say you're seeing it more because we're allowed, because of this indie space, we're allowed to tell the stories that we want to tell regardless. But when you look at traditionally published authors who are black in horror, it ain't that many. Like when you start trying to name them off, it's not that many. So they're still not putting dollars behind these authors. And I feel like we get boxed in, especially when you think of um, traditional publishing. We get put in these boxes that we can only write with romance, or we can only write contemporary or street fiction, and it's just not the case. But I think indie authors are doing a good job of saying like, hey, like we're here and we're doing a great job in this genre because it's needed.
Mm-hmm. 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 I mean, even though I don't agree with Jordan Peele as his politics, I do believe in what he's doing as a black man in the space of horror. Um,
Yes.
and I think that him and what's her name, Tenebria Drive.
Tananarive do.
I done fucked all that shit up. But she's another one that is pushing Brandon Massey, S.A. Cosby. Those people are pushing psychological. What's his name? Shit, I got his goddamn books. Eric LaSalle. They are pushing that thriller, that psychological. Octavia Grant. You, Caitlin Hunt, Kenya. All of y'all are pushing the goalposts further towards us than away from us. Of course, it's still going to be Eurocentric because that's all people know.
Yeah.
And people hate to break away from what they don't, breaking the norms. So I. Luke got the can for you. Okay. My husband. Sorry. um, so they're breaking the norms, that y'all are y'all are doing such a good job that you're making people want to break from writing what they think we should write.
Thank
And
you.
even the stuff that they think we should write, they don't even think we should write. They want to steal it, But
Right, right.
they don't think we
And
should
you
write.
know the crazy thing is because you even at times get a lot. It's changing now, but you at times we got a lot of pushback even from readers because I feel like readers is like we not reading horror thriller like by black people because they just feel like we don't write that stuff, and it's just like, well, why can't we write these things? So I remember even starting off, I had to go back and change all my book covers and put like, black characters on it to be like, hey, like I'm black, like they either assumed you were white and just didn't pay you any attention. It's been a lot trying to break into this genre. I'm not lying. It's crazy, but I feel like especially with Booktalk, you see a real influx in readers
Yeah.
gravitating toward the thriller. Because I'm like, y'all been missing out. Like the dark side is where it's at.
Um, I can't puff on here because I was about to light one up. But I want to say this as a reader that is multifaceted in everything that I read across the board. I read every genre except for nonfiction. I read it, but I don't like it. So,
Same. I don't like it either.
but I try to support black authors, so that's why I read it. I feel like people in our own culture are so stuck in their ways. They want a lot of people are stuck in the wanting of the love of their life, wanting that man or that woman, to hold them down. And we want, that romance. And there's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with that.
But at the same time, we hate to break out of our bubbles, our little square boxes that we put ourselves in. Nobody put us there. We put ourselves in. And it feels like to me that a lot of people miss out on some good genres because they're so focused on one particular genre. Because I've heard so many times where somebody is urban fiction and they read contemporary romance story and was like, or they were contemporary romance and they read a historical fiction, or there was historical fiction and they read a paranormal, or
Right.
they were
Because how do you
paranormal.
know if you don't like it if you've never even read it? Like, how do you know?
Exactly. But a lot of times with indie authors, y'all get a bum rap because they'll say, "Oh, the editing wasn't good enough." Baby, I read the Zodiac Academy and I was confused. Where was the punctuation and the fucking dictionary, the thesaurus when it witnessed needed? You know what I'm saying? So I don't feel like the comparison to you guys is needed. You know what I'm saying? It's not needed. And I honestly think readers do a disjustice to themselves when they don't go outside their norm. I know a lot of people hate to be uncomfortable, but to get comfortable in yourself, you have to be uncomfortable.
Yes.
So
Yes.
therefore, I feel like when it comes for you and other, you go watch Jordan Peele's movies, but you can't read your books or
Right.
Kenya's or Octavia's or Caitlin's or whoever. You can't read those, but you can go see that movie and be like, "That's a good movie." Well,
Right.
the book
It's
is
a good book.
I can't force anybody to do anything, but I do feel like y'all some dick suckers. Just saying. But um
You have to expand your horizon.
expand. Just like you expand your pussy and your dick goes into every puss, expand.
Expand.
Expand. So, do you feel that black horror authors get the same level of recognition as the white authors in their genre? And I'm talking not just horror, because horror is one facet of it, but psychological, thriller, suspense, those fall under like an umbrella. So do you
Hmm.
think that they get the same recognition?
We don't. So one of the reasons that we started, so on Facebook we have a group that was Tanisha Stewart's idea,
Mhm.
and it's a group called Black Women Who Read Thriller, Horror, Suspense. And one of the main reasons for that group is because she wanted to highlight black people, black women in those specific genres because we don't get the recognition that we deserve. I feel like our books are just as good as our white counterparts. I remember Octavia had mentioned in another group, someone posted anonymously about wanting recommendations for that genre. And it was like, why do you feel the need to hide that you want to read these books? So I feel like we really don't get the love, but I think it's changing. I honestly really, I think it's changing. Especially with the help of Booktalk, Black Booktalk, it has really pushed the thriller, especially the thriller genre, to the forefront. So I don't want to just, act like, oh no, we don't get recognition, because we have a wonderful community. And those ladies show us so much love. Like, so I don't even want to act like we don't even get love. But of course it can get better, but it's to be expected when you're kind of breaking into a genre that's not normally represented by Black faces. It's never gonna be an easy ride. So I mean, I'm here for the long ride, so I'm not worried about it.
Do you feel that some critics argue that Black horror is often reduced to trauma? Well, yeah, trauma and for non-Black audiences. How do you respond to someone who has that perspective? Like, oh, the only reason you a Black author writing in horror or thriller or suspense or whatever is because you're trying to put your trauma on us because we're not Black.
I feel like that is Black people's trauma, though. I mean, that's our horror. So when you think of, when you're writing horror, you really want to kind of think of the psyche of who you're telling this story, from the perspective that you're telling this story. And as a Black person, that is horror for us. There's a time and a place, and because I love Jordan Peele's movies, like Get Out is one of my favorite movies. So I feel like it's a time and a place for it. Do you always want to see a movie that's always pulling from Black trauma? Not necessarily, because it can be draining at times, and sometimes you do want that escape. But I feel like it's necessary because that is our reality. And it's a horrific reality. And I feel like if you feel a way about it, that says a lot about you.
It really does.
It don't have nothing to do with us.
So, what's your take on the rise of like Black horror films and TV and directors like Jordan Peele, and shows that was canceled like Lovecraft Country? But
I'm still pissed about
I'm so
that.
salty.
I'm so pissed about that.
I mean, Jonathan Majors, bless his old Negro spiritual looking face heart, but he acted his ass off in that motherfucker.
Acted his ass off. Journey Smollett, that was a really good
kept
show.
Running through the whole fucking film, but she acted her ass off. It seems like our movies get in our shows taken away from us because they're to us. And unfortunately, in the 400 and some odd years of conception of America, they still ain't ready for us.
And I don't understand it. I just really don't understand it. I feel like because they're good quality shows. And honestly, I don't even think that it has anything to do with the storylines per se. It's because it shows Black people in a better light. It shows Black actors like acting their ass off. I don't think they can take Black excellence, and I think that's the problem.
That part. Because to me, I knew it was gonna get canceled the minute they said Tuskegee. I mean, not Tuskegee, but Tulsa. The minute they said Tulsa, anything,
they went too far.
I knew right then and there. I said, self, we ain't gonna see the rest of this shit. We're not gonna see no more of this because it was getting too good and it was getting too
deep.
Too deep.
Yeah, too deep.
But it was. Honestly, I feel like it was getting too deep for us. Not them, because us face a lot of shit. And
somebody mentioned The Watchmen. That was a good show too.
So wait, let me get it together because what I'm about to say, the way Dr. Manhattan dick was swinging, played Candyman, but I was forever seeing him as Dr. Manhattan because the way that dick was digging, Jesus, woo, that was a big motherfucker.
Look, I
They
gotta
could
put
have wrote
my
a story all
chapstick
about that
on.
dick. I'm just saying. So, if one of your books were to be adapted to film or a series, what would be your dream production team and cast?
That's a good question. So first, I would love the Asylum series to be
Why I knew you
turned
were gonna
into,
go there. Why I just
cause that would be so fun. It's so much fun writing that book, writing that series.
that shit is giving me people under the stairs.
It's so fun. So I would really love that to be turned into a series.
Mm-hmm.
I've never thought about like who I would want to play because a lot of those people don't survive. So I haven't even put a lot of thought into who can play them. I'm trying to think.
Jesus. I ain't never gonna make it to the gates, y'all. The stuff that I be reading, this is why I'm going to the fiery pits. I'm telling you. So have you with everything that's going on, how we just discussed the lack of representation in like traditional publishing, because in indie publishing I honestly can say I see more of y'all. I see
I
y'all
love it.
everywhere.
I love it. Yeah.
Traditionally publishing, I be like, damn, where the fuck y'all at?
It's crickets. You got about two to five.
You got motherfuckers
And
screaming. You got motherfuckers in the like, where y'all at? You know what I'm saying?
crickets. Yeah.
So, with that being said, have you faced industry pressure? You know what I'm saying? Let's just say you wanted to go traditional and putting your work out there. Have you faced any pressure to dilute the black themes in the horror thriller stories that you write and make them more palatable
I
to
would say I
mainstream
haven't. I would
audience?
say I feel like my readers love that stuff. If anything, they kind of want, it's like, take it there. The only kind of pushback you might get here and there is if you kill off a character that people love. But other than that, I think they expect that. And I think that's one of the things that make the genre so fun is because, I mean, you going to have some hypercritical people, the trigger warning people who might get offended, but I feel like those aren't my everyday readers, so I'm not trying to appease you.
I can say this. I'm gonna say this. I swear to God, I don't even care if I offend anybody. Yo, if you are reading horror, the genre is horror. If you are reading thriller, the genre is thriller, psychological. The trigger warnings speak for themselves.
That's what I said. The genre is a trigger warning, like literally. Yeah.
It be assuming. I be telling people to go sit on that lady couch, but sometimes y'all maybe not need to sit on that lady couch because y'all be too sensitive. Buck up, bitch. Get it
Too
together.
sensitive. Too sensitive. I don't get it. I really don't get it.
So, what stories are missing from black horror and thriller literature that you like to see explored?
I would say I would love to see more stories told from like the villain's point of view. You don't see that often. I feel like in the dating app series, I told from the perspective of the villain, but I really love to see those type of tropes. I'm trying to think of what else. More psychological horrors. I feel like we don't get a lot. I just say expand because especially with the thriller horror, it's so many subgenres that
Mm-hmm.
we can kind of branch off into. So we don't necessarily have to stick with, um, guy meets girl, girl is crazy. Those are great stories. Don't get me wrong. I love those stories too, and I don't want those stories to go anywhere. But I feel like we can do so much more.
Mm. So, who are some emerging like black authors in horror? What are they authors, filmmakers, actors in thriller that you think deserve more attention? Besides
Of
yourself.
course, my girls. My girls. We got Octavia, Tanisha Stewart. We got Kenya Moss-Dime, Kira N. James. J.R. Mason is another one. Samira Alexander. I know I'm going to forget somebody. I feel like I'm doing like an acceptance speech or something. Like I want to thank everybody.
Well, who knows? Y'all might get nominated for the Boozy Book Tour Awards next year. And
That'll make me excited.
y'all be in Las Vegas accepting an award together.
That'll be dope. That'll be so dope.
So what do you hope your work contributes to the future of black horror and thriller and psychological and suspense writers and their storytelling?
I mean, honestly, I just wanna be known as a trailblazer, like somebody who helped open the doors for the generation coming after us. I think it's important that we show black women in these areas because we don't see it often. I feel like it's in a way we're kind of going against the grain because it's not seen as a normal black girl genre. So I just kind of want to help set the tone and help open the doors for the people coming in after me.
Yeah. If you could give one piece of advice to young black writers who want to break into these genres, what would it be?
Don't give up. Stay true to yourself. Like pretty much if you write it, your readers will come. Don't try to appease everybody else because I feel like being creative is it's like therapy. It's like you need that release, but if you are not being authentic to yourself, it's going to have an adverse effect. So stay true to yourself. You know what you want to do, write what you want to write, and those people will come.
So, I before we get out of here, I want you to talk about your books, especially this crazy last one. Um, if y'all go read it, don't say shit to me. Okay, it's good. It's good, but don't say shit to me. I think I was traumatized, and I'm married.
Were you?
I will never. I will never tell anybody ever again get on a date nap. Okay.
I wouldn't either.
Um, y'all have single handedly, your crew have single handedly turned me off from bag boys, um, men that could possibly be mutated vampire type niggas. Um, um, I don't trust nurses, doctors, bitches that talk to nothing. I
Don't
am
trust nobody.
I have become paranoid because of y'all. And I
We
told
doing the Lord's work
eh,
because everybody should be paranoid.
I don't need to be more paranoid than I am. I got PTSD already from the military. I am a sociopath, really in real life. So you got a bitch that's a sociopath, got anger, explosive disorder, and PTSD, and you done made her more anxious than what she already is. Girl, that is not a good combination.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
But I love y'all books. I love y'all books. So let's talk. Tell us the synopsis. You ain't even got to tell us everything, cause y'all need to go get it to read the whole story. But tell
Right.
us the synopsis about this book, and also tell us how it came to be. This whole collaboration.
Okay. So my book is book one, The Perfect Profile, in the five book dating app horror series. My book follows Dallas Davenport. He is a med student who found out he has a genetic disorder and he's going blind. So his solution to his solution to his problem is to find a human eye donor so that he can save more lives. Sacrifice one to save many. That's his philosophy.
And I stand on delusional and crazy. I stand on that for real. So how did this come to be? What you are writing this dating app series?
So it came to be so this series has been kind of a year in the making. So
Mm-hmm.
it started with Tanisha Stewart. She had the idea to put together the Black women who read thriller horror suspense Facebook group. So she brought me together with Kenya Mostein, Octavia Grant, and Kara N. James. Did I mention everybody? Yeah. So five of us together. So once we got together with this group, I feel like it was only natural for us to do a collaboration. So we kind of threw out some ideas, and I suggested like a dating app for theme, and they all loved that idea. So that's how that started. But it's literally we've been working on this for like a year. And I came up with the perfect profile because I didn't want, and I will say the good thing is everybody's stories are different, but I didn't want everybody to get the same story over and over and over. So I was like, well, how can I kind of put a different spin on this to where it'll be something completely different that people may not have read before. So that's, at first it was supposed to be just organ harvesting. And I was like, well, I kind of want to, I wanted to put a little personal touch on it. So that's how we met Dallas.
The way you threw that shit out like smooth. Whoa, see, y'all be coming out the like the most sanest motherfucker in y'all mind. Oh my god. Well, I just want to say I appreciate you and the craziness that you write.
Thank you.
We need that in our lives. And do you have any other collaborations or books that's going to be coming out this year or next year that we should be looking for?
Yeah, I got a few things coming out. So I have a birthday release coming April 4th. It's actually a re-release. So I got my rights back to a previously released book. So I will release that on April 4th. It's called We All Fall Down. So look out for that. June, I have something coming, but that's still kind of a surprise. And then October, we have books 5 and 6 for the Asylum series that will be coming out. And then, the BWW5, we're working on something for the end of the year. We trying to wreck all y'all holidays.
Child.
That's the goal.
Mm-mm. So where you gonna be at outside?
Just one place.
Why you breathe like that? How you tired already? You ain't even there.
Listen, I'm already planning like, okay, well, I'm already trying to get my mind right.
Oh man.
So I will be at the ICU experience powered by Braid in August. That will be in Detroit. So that is like my debut. I've never done a book event before. So I'm so nervous. And I'm like, I don't even know what I need to
I'll be
get.
there.
Oh, yay. That's exciting. That's one reason I'm excited because I'm like, I finally get to meet like everybody I've met on social media. I finally get to meet some people. So that's what I'm looking forward to the most.
I can't wait to meet all y'all. I'm gonna need you to get on the Boozy Book Tour.
Yeah. Are y'all coming to Vegas? Cause I heard
Next
that.
year. Next
I
year
live in Vegas.
we're coming for the Melanin Ball. This will be the second Melanin Ball. We did Tulsa this year. We're doing Las Vegas in February
Okay.
of next year.
Oh, then I'm there. I live out here, so
You get on that website so we can see your name on that form.
there we go. Okay, okay. I will. I will.
All right.
I will.
So, what's your social medias? Where can we buy the book? And yeah, that's it.
Okay, so my books are available on Amazon. I am still working on my site. So they Kenya and Kira been harassing me to get my site up. So I'm working on my site. But right now all my books are available on Amazon. My socials, I'm on Instagram under author Toni LaRuè. TikTok I'm under I think just the real Toni LaRuè.
No,
And then Facebook. Is it just Toni LaRuè?
it's just Toni LaRuè.
Okay. And then Facebook is just Toni LaRuè. But I have like my hype link in my bios and stuff, so you can click on that and it'll take you to all my socials.
What's your Facebook group?
Black women who read thriller, horror, suspense. I'm the most active in that group.
Okay.
We
And
be having a good time.
crazy.
Good crazy time.
Crazy. I'm gonna do a little housekeeping. We're gonna get out of here. All right. So y'all know the Boozy Book Tour. We have tickets available for Raleigh. Let me get it together. Raleigh, Arlington, Orlando, and Chicago and Las Vegas. Tickets are being sold now. Also, next year, y'all know we are buckling down to 3 tours a year, and they're all gonna be themed. So next year will be the Melanin Ball. It will be the theme is House Party 2 Pajama Jam. So you be wearing pajamas all weekend. That don't mean wear your dirty, crusty ass grandma panties.
You know we gonna be in lingerie.
I was just about to say, don't come. Look, I already had an author said she gonna wear pasties. Don't do me like this. Don't. Me and Shannon nerves are already bad. Y'all be coming in, this be freaknik around this bitch.
You already know.
In Denver, y'all know that is interracial, multicultural. We are accepting some, not a lot, some authors who write black love stories, but that is literally an interracial, multicultural, and that is a dungeon. That is based off of BDSM, kink, and everything else. So that is in Denver, Colorado. And then y'all know Seattle is also next year, and that is the Alice in Wonderland Mad Hatter Tea Party.
Oh, that sounds so fun.
Was it that Darlene? No, it wasn't Darlene who said the pasties. No. Y'all get too comfortable around us when we be throwing our tours because y'all get there and y'all get a little drink in y'all, a little drink. And the truth be coming out. And I be sitting there like, who is this? So, I be confused, like, oh. But no, it's a good time. It's just like family fun. It's just like you going to a family reunion, a barbecue, and having a good ass time, but signing books and really talking to your authors and eating dinner with them and everything else. So
I love that.
It's always a good time. We try to stand out from everybody else because we like smaller, so y'all can get time to actually speak with the authors because it's nerve wracking already to be there, and it's nerve wracking for the authors who've never been and who's been, signing books. But it gives the authors and readers a chance to actually just shoot the shit for real.
To interact, yeah, it's like they came all that way just to get a book signed and a thank you. Like, yeah,
you really
that's
get to.
that's
That's
dope to have that experience.
Me and Shannon, we tried to make sure that y'all have the best fucking time possible. I have, because I know Nicole is lurking on here somewhere. I have my book planner in which that I have the Black Girl Social Media Book Planner is 3 books in one. It is your goals, it is your social media content, and it is a self-care planner. 3 in 1. You can get it on Good Notes or you can get it on Amazon, but Amazon locked me on my account, so the physical copies I don't get paid for, but I still want y'all to get them, so I don't even care. Before she say anything, yes, I know money is money, but I don't care. I want y'all. I made them so to help social media content creators as a whole. So you can get it on Good Notes. The link is in my bio. Also, thank you guys for subscribing to my YouTube page. I'm almost to 1,000. I appreciate you guys. Any interview that I do, any book recommendation I do, any book review I do will be on YouTube if it's not on here. So, yes. Thank you once again. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
I
You
can't
made
wait
me
to...
so comfortable, and I tell you, I was so nervous.
What?
I don't know. I was like, I'm so nervous.
Girl, you ain't never gotta be nervous with me because I be sitting here drinking. You lucky TikTok had cracked down on my ass because I was in here puffing with the green, talking to y'all. Because we having a conversation. It's an interview, but it's a conversation. I never want y'all to feel nervous around me. It's too many people out here. I ain't got a journalist degree. I am a biology major. Okay? I just love talking to y'all because there's so many questions I have. So that's it. But I appreciate that you were comfortable. Thank you.
I was. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, one last thing. April 6th, Sir Leesus will be on my page. We will be doing an interview. The Dom. He will be here. He will be discussing kink, BDSM, and sexuality. So for any authors that want to write sex scenes, write scenes that deal with BDSM, or get a male perspective on that, he is an expert in it, and he is an expert in kink. So, and he's a Dom. So if you're going to be here, it's April 6th at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This will be a perfect time for you to come and grab a drink, maybe a smoke, and listen to what he's saying and ask some questions, because this will be somebody y'all can ask questions for free on my podcast. All right.
There you go.
So thank you again, and you have a great evening.
Thank you. You too.
Bye, everybody.